Hey, welcome, guys. This evening is Monday, August the 4th, in preparation for Tuesday, August 5th, trading day. Um, we are continuing with the interview with Roy Longstreet, being interviewed by Intermarket Magazine. And let's see. They asked him, said, how do you approach a campaign in terms of pyramiding? Longstreet said, well, that gets me to another lesson. I believe that a passage in the Bible, a quotation of Jesus, has something to offer traders who are pyramiding. He said, if you only believe, he was asking people to have a sort of a supreme confidence. I'll tell you about another experience. Now, keep in mind that this is my experience, not something that somebody told me. This experience at the time meant nothing, but since that time, it has meant everything. It is about this idea of pyramiding. At one time, I had a very profitable business managing money for other people. I had a number of clients in California and went to visit two of them. The second was a cotton farmer named Sherman Thomas. I visited a fellow first whose name I forgot, and I want to forget for his sake. He started with some $40,000 in his account. During the previous year, I had lost $4,000. He was greatly disturbed because he expected something that he did not get. He was disturbed and he told me so in so many words. After my visit with him, I traveled up up north from Los Angeles to where my second client, Sherman Thomas, lived. But after seeing this first gentleman, I was really depressed. And I don't mean maybe. I mean really depressed because I don't like to disappoint people, and I had been told about it. Sherman Thomas had lost the same percentage of money, but when I got off the airplane, I was never greeted. I was never. I'm sorry. When I got off that airplane, I never was greeted like I was by this fellow. Am I glad to see you? He greeted me like a long lost brother. I knew that I had lost money for him, so I was skeptical of him acting that way. But he was sincere, he was optimistic, and he gave me confidence. So much so that he convinced me that I had the ability to make him money. He asked me to make him $800,000, which was the amount of money he had lost the previous year in business. I did not promise to do it for him until we got in a friendly disagreement on the meaning of faith. He felt like he knew it, and I felt like I knew it. I am says, the meaning of faith? Question mark. Longstreet says, the meaning of faith. He told me, you will find out that I am right and you are wrong. Well, I did find out, but not until after I had contacted my many minister friends that I had. I was disappointed because none of them told me in terms that I could understand. Anyway, as I was leaving, he reiterated that he wanted me to make him $800,000, and he said that he would risk $60,000 to make it, but he only put up $3,000. He would have put up more if I had asked him to do so, but it was not necessary. I told him that when I put on a position large enough to require more margin money, my secretary would notify him of how much was required, and he would put up whatever margin was necessary up to $60,000. So I traded. It was almost a mystical experience for me. Within 3 months, remember, within 3 months, his $3,000 grew to $400,000, and we never needed any more than that original $3,000. Confidence, says I am. Longstreet says, but it ended right there. You see, I had a picture of him having confidence in me. That's why it happened. I believe. But one day he flew out to St. Louis to withdraw $100,000 from his account. I was mistaken. He did not believe in me. He never would have gone to the expense of flying out here to withdraw some money had he believed in me. So I became angry and I told him, just get out of here. Just walk down to the office and get your check. But we're through. You don't even believe in me. But anyway, this incident told me nothing immediately, but almost everything eventually. Believe. If you can only believe, pyramiding only if you have faith. You are in danger whenever you are pyramiding into a position unless you really, really believe. You better not do it. And I mean it. Do it only if you believe completely in yourself and in your analysis of the situation. Otherwise, do not pyramid. IM says, so how did you make that type of return? Longstreet says, I don't know. All I know is that I believed that I could do it. Was it in one commodity? Asks IM. Longstreet says, no, it was in several. Actually, I was surprised about it as anyone. My secretary was supposed to call him whenever I would put on positions that required margin money. She did not call after I had put on an especially large position, and I was about to criticize her. She said, well, it's not necessary. You're making money. I didn't know it. All I know is now is that I believed. IM says, so you're saying that nobody can tell anyone else how to pyramid? Longstreet says, that's right. And that's what Tom Jordan told me. There is a belief that somebody knows, and if we can just find that person, we can imitate him. But successful people don't imitate. Each person must do it the way. And the only way to find the way is to do it your way, to fail and then persevere. IM says, how were you able to fail from 1929 until 1960 and still have enough money to lose $1 million? Longstreet says, I was trading well, yes, but I was mistakenly thinking it was my technique. I thought I could learn from talking to those people more successful than I, trying to discover what their technique was. I never realized that I was looking for somebody who knew, but the only person who had the ability to know was right for me and could teach it was me. IM says, so you're saying the most important thing any trader can do is to generate his own decisions and his own approach. Longstreet says, yes, because that's the only way any of us learn. We cannot really learn from anybody else. That is my belief. I cannot feel truly comfortable doing things your way. I will always have a nagging doubt until I discover my own way. IM says, when were you trading at your best? Longstreet says, today. I operate based on principles today. This is the first time in my life I am trading based on principles. IM says, are you making the most money that you have ever made in your life? Longstreet says, no, and I don't want to make the most money. What I want to do is operate based on principles. Maybe I'll change that tomorrow. Today, I want to be sure that I'm being patient. When I put on a trade, it does not have to work for me this instant, so long as it doesn't work against me in a major way. Patience doesn't mean just waiting. It means being able to sit and learn. That thing which you feel is necessary to learn, however long it takes to learn that. All right, we'll pick back up on that tomorrow. I thought that was a great story. Like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying this bit about Longstreet and kind of learn a little bit about his backstory and stuff. We're going to jump into the market analysis. We have Super Trader with us here tonight, Mr. Fibonacci Queen himself, Dustin. So he'll be watching on here as we go through this. But all right, so tomorrow I have as a buy day, and that's because we have this flip up of this 2-period rate of change. So we have this these multiple days, 1, 2, 3 days down, the 1 day up, and then the other next 2 days down. Like I said yesterday, we were showing a little bit of that capitulation. We were coming into that 38.2 retracement based on a 50-day moving average. I'm not expecting to see this flip down to this 2-period rate of change unless we come down and take out today's lows. So we get down below today's lows, then I expect to see that 2-period rate of change flip down. As of right now, we're hovering up here. We are, like I said, we are on a buy day tomorrow because of this flip up of the 2-period rate of change. We are also in a very large 3-bar from Thursday's high to Friday's low. Created a very large 3-bar. We had an inside day. We closed inside of Friday's day. So an inside day and a 3-bar. So quite a bit of range to the top or back to the bottom of this 3-bar. So I would not be surprised if we get a little bit of price overlap first instead of just a straight shot up or a straight shot down. All right. Oh, also on this LBR, let me no, I'm sorry, yes, on the LBR, not the 2-period rate of change. So back here on this low that we put in, let me show you here. We put in a low in the slow line, the LBR slow line. Put in that low back here on June 13th. That low was at 1741. Well, when I did my homework earlier, we were at 1584. It looks like right now we're at 1592. Either way, we are lower than our prior low during this whole move up where we've stayed kind of in this positive channel here. So like I said, that slow line is slowly moving down where it's going to be, taking out this low. We just don't know what day that's going to happen yet. But it's inevitable. It's inevitable when you get finally that rollover, and then you start getting some downward movement of the markets there. So just interesting to note that we are creeping down lower on that LBR slow line here. So let's keep an eye on that. Even though buy day, even though we have a buy day tomorrow, this is 61.8 comes up in here at 63.81. And that's from Thursday's high to Friday's low. That 61.8% retracements there. See if we have any price, hesitation around there or whatever. So let's keep an eye on that 61.8 zone. Again, I'd mentioned this already. I'm not expecting to see this 2-period rate of change flip down unless we go back down here and take out today's lows. I'm going to bring over the 65,000 tick chart. All right. So on the 65,000 tick chart, you can see that we've moved back up in here. Pardon me, into this. We did a little A, B, C, D, E move down, made that spike high overnight, and then just collapsed. Well, looking at this red zone, we've moved quite a bit of ATR move down. We're coming back up into what would be classified as kind of a green whack-a-mole zone. We are starting to see a little bit of on the fast LBR 310, a little bit of divergence there. Starting to see a possible rollover of that slow line. So I'm going to keep an eye on that tomorrow and see if the 65,000 tick, if we start rolling over on that. Otherwise, I kind of marked off these prior lows here on E as a little box range. And you can see it looks like we did spike above that here just apparently recently, because that was not up there when I put this box in there earlier. But we'll take a look at that. All right, up on the E level, price overlap. Move back below today's lows. Okay. In the meantime, in the meantime, there's a lot of room in that 3 bar, as I mentioned on the daily. Lot of room here to go up to the top or back down to the bottom and still be within that breakout zone. 30-minute chart. I did want to show you that. Okay, that's a 60-minute. Let's go back to my 30-minute. So again, this was what I was assessing earlier. We had this first Keltner channel reversal. This did not play out. It did not come back down to the 30-period or to the 20-period moving average. Instead, we shot back up. We missed this second one here. The second potential Keltner channel reversal. This close here was so this was the close outside. We were looking for a close below that within 1 or 2 bars. And this missed it by a quarter point. It looks like we did spike up here. This happened at 2100, which is 9 o'clock p.m. Now we're kind of faltering here. So looks like we're kind of going in a sideways consolidation here on the 30-minute. Let's take a look at the hourly chart here. I had at the time of doing my homework, we were kind of in here and I didn't know if we'd come down here and close below this to make that the Keltner channel, but that did not play out. Instead, let's see, what is this? I think that's the 4-period moving out. Let me double check that, my inputs on that. Oh, that's 5-period. Okay, so on my 60-minute, that's the 5-period moving average, and here's the 20-period moving average down here. I would anticipate us kind of coming back down to that at some point. Also, you will see on the gap chart or the real-time trading hours chart, today we had no touch of the midline, the mid Keltner channel, which is that 20-period moving average. We just kind of shot up and trended up. I would expect us to touch that 20-period at some point tomorrow. We have a greater likelihood of tomorrow touching that or hitting that. We also filled this gap. So this was into the close. We did come up and fill this gap. That gap was, if you remember, that was over here at this ascending triangle, bullish triangle. We popped the upside. So kind of some levels that we can keep an eye on. We found a little bit of support here. A little bit of support here along the way. So, today or right now, our highs put in so far in the Globex session was a high of 36.76. So 36, oh, I'm sorry, I said 36. 63.76. Sorry, 63.76, which does correspond with this line here, the 63.77 zone. So let's keep an eye on that tomorrow and see how that plays out. Sorry, let me get back over here. So in the Globex session, we did go ahead and push up into this other potential overhead resistance area. So we want to keep an eye on that. All right, we did have that gap fill, triangle breakout. I showed that. This was let's see, the large. I think that was just interesting. Okay, that was. Hang on, that may have been. Oh yeah, no, it's back here. So this was interesting here. I think it shows better on the 60. Let me go to the 60-minute. Yeah. Um, so I marked off here with these pink little trend lines here. This we shot down here on a 60-minute basis, a hard fall down. Then we shot right back up. So it's almost like we took out the top of that wide range, more than 7. Widest range we've had in quite a while on the 60-minute chart, as you can see there. So we took out that high, but it was a false breakout to the upside. It was like false, and then we came down. Well, we are coming back up. We're pushing back up. And like I said, I said this 63.77 zone is right here towards the bottom of those two big candles. It would be interesting to see if we find resistance there, or if we start moving back up and eating up into there. Obviously, if we're moving up and eating up into here, I want to be careful being short, because we could come and eat 50% back up in here, or hell, we can even come all the way up to the top of that. However, we find that resistance here at around the 63.77, then I may be a little more inclined to look for some shorts, in that area with proper setups. All right, and then the last thing was just the internals here. On the internals, we're at a really interesting position right now upon close. So you notice that we had 3 points up from this low was the 1470 low, is 1770. Well, so that tells me if we're up above 1770, then we should be looking bearish. However, since the spike high on Friday, 3 points down from that is 1890. So if we're below that, we should be looking bullish. So that's we are right here in between this zone. We closed right here. So just be aware. A move back above the 1770 would be bullish. A move back below the 1890. I'm sorry. Move above the 1770 would be bearish. A move below the 1890 would be bullish. So we'll just keep an eye on that stuff tomorrow. All right, guys, that's it. Sorry it took a little bit longer tonight, about 19-20 minutes into this, but we will see you on the floor tomorrow, and happy trading, trade safe, and let's all help each other out. All right, later.